Hey guys, it's Tommy CM. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another episode of Let's Build Alton Towers. As always, if you do enjoy the video, please do give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing as it really does help me out. Now, in the last episode, you saw me complete CBeebies land, which is all the way down here. So the park really is sort of starting to take shape now. You can sort of get a rough outline as to where things are going to go. In this episode, I'm going to be working towards this back corner over here. Now, over in this section, this in Alton Towers is called X sector. This has 3 rides in it. It has the Smiler, it has an Enterprise, and it also has Oblivion. It does at the minute. It does have a temporary ride because this year Alton Towers have put in some funfair rides to kind of spread out the guests. I won't be adapting for that. I'll just be building the 3 rides that are there. They did have a ride called Submission, which I may end up putting in. I'll see what the percentage is like once I've done the 3 that are still existing. So that is going to be the target for this episode, is to move down to this corner, and I'm yet to decide which part I'm going to build first in there. So it will either be the general layout of X sector, or it will be the Smiler or Oblivion. One of those 3 options. So, but I'm sure by the time you clicked on this, you will know already. So, I will see you in a moment when I've made a start. Okay, so as you can see, I've done a little bit of infrastructure work. What I've realised is this episode is not going to be probably as long as the other episodes, mainly because I've got to spend a bit of time getting the layout of X sector right before I can put in the rides. So I've got to get kind of the basis and the areas right. So which you can see sort of over here, the terrain work I've done, I've kind of just pushed it back as far as I possibly can to give me a nice open space. Now there should be plenty of room here to put in Oblivion, the Smiler and Enterprise. But if I do struggle, I'm sure I can slightly adjust things. But I need to get the layout of the paths right, because it's going through the paths to get to the rides that I need to sort out to line up, to make things line up. And if I don't do that right, then I'm not going to be able to fit things in correctly. I'll have to adjust things, etc., and it just makes things more complicated. So I've got to do X sector as a general layout right first. What you can see down here is I've just put in the bit of water that is in the middle of the park. This kind of sits just in front of the towers. The towers themselves kind of sit on a hill just up here, which I haven't done the terrain work for yet. Depending on build percentage, I will either build them in this park or build them in a separate park as I go later through the rest of Alton Towers. Just so you're aware, my build limit is at 65%. So I'm currently about as far as I could go if I was on a PS4. Obviously on the PS5 we get about a third extra. So that's what I'm currently playing with. And I'll take you through what I've done so far. So if we go down to the back of Spinball Wizard down here, we will float through with the guests here. So you go through this little kind of secluded passageway where there tends to be like loads of adverts, loads of posters up, etc. So just got that down there, and then just behind here we have a access road that I've sprayed. Basically, this takes you all the way back to the top of CBeebies land. This is a gate in the park. Obviously, there isn't actually gates in here. There's just fences. So so that's what I've got. That's what I've got just in there. And then we've got a food and drink place just here where people can get drinks, etc. Now, if you've been down to Alton Towers, you may recognise this. There is a football competition thing. You can try and score in the holes on the wall to win prizes. So I just thought I'd build this goal striker. I believe, I'm not sure if there is another midway game just here. I will build that if so, but I need to double check on that before I do, so I can't fully remember. And then also the infamous hole-in-one to win a car at Alton Towers. Essentially, for those of you who haven't been, there is or there used to be, I'm not sure if there still is, again, I'm not sure if it's changed. There used to be a little island in the middle of the water with a little, with a golf hole in and a flag, and you used to have to take one shot from over here. If it went in, you won the car. obviously the likelihood of you winning that is very, very unlikely. And unfortunately, I can't get a smaller ball than that. So it's a very big golf ball. And there was an area in the lake where it was just covered in golf balls where people had attempted it. So yeah, that's what I've gone for there. That's the sort of effect I'm going for. Then if we go down here, so down here there's a path that takes you over to the other side of the water there. There's a path here that takes you up to the towers themselves. So that will obviously it'll be further developed as the park grows. It's not at the minute doing anything, but it's just kind of there just as a point of reference, so that when it does come to that, I know where to carry on building from. I've put a staff building in behind the food places. Again, that's just so that the staff, when they want to hop out of there, don't have to walk too far. Otherwise, they're walking all the way back to CBeebies Land. So yeah, that's there. We've got ladies and gents toilets just here, which seem to be very popular. This is, everyone is coming over here for these toilets. I'm not quite sure why. I have put a viewing post, by the way, over here, just so people will look like they're interacting. But yeah, going back over here. So yeah, everyone seems to be coming over to the toilets from Spinball Wizard, rather than going to CBeebies Land. So yeah, fair enough. And then we get to X Sector. So this is my X Sector sign. I will put up a photo just here of what the X Sector sign in Alton Towers looks like. So yeah, that's what I've kind of based it off. It's quite a. I mean, I think X Sector is supposed to be like a, not futuristic, but it's kind of like a, I suppose it is futuristic in a way, a bit like a scientific, like dark, sci-fi area. So yeah, that's what I've gone for the sign, which I think does it works a treat, to be fair. I've just got coaster supports, done my own sign with shapes, got the lights on top, and then these things are just sort of like these are TV brackets and TV mounts. Now, as we go through here, this red building, before I show it you, this is the restaurant in X Sector. Now, currently, the restaurant in X Sector in the real life park is called Just Chicken, because that's what they sell. It's like the Alton Towers version of KFC. Now, before they had Just Chicken, this building was actually a KFC. They did have KFC inside the park, and so I reached out to Tommy P on the Planet Coaster Console Discord, and he has a build of a KFC, which was assisted to him by MavsFam4. And how good does the KFC look? How good does that sign look? Really, really happy with that. And I just thought it makes it. I know the KFC is no longer in Alton Towers, but I think it just looks a lot nicer. And it's just a lot more fun than just building a square box with Just Chicken written on it. So yeah, really, really thankful for that. I think it does a wonderful job. He uploaded it on the workshop for me, and essentially he'd built, like, between him and MavsFam4, who I think helped him on the logo. They'd built the upstairs bit, but this restaurant actually goes onto 2 floors, which you can see is why I've done the terrain work like that. So what I did was I just kind of extended this bit and put the stairs in, and then carried on their floor design downstairs. And I think it works really well. To be fair, I think that does actually work really well as a restaurant. You got the doors down here where you can come in. So yeah, really really happy with that as a restaurant in X Sector. And then at the back of here, we've got a seating area for for any guests wanting to eat from there. And then as you go along here, you get a big arcade. Now, I'm not going into depth into building each and every custom arcade game, because again, the build counter would just be creeping up and up for such a small section. But what I will be doing is at the exit of Oblivion, the path goes down here and goes into this building where you can see your online photo, and then it leads you into the arcade. So I will be kind of putting in the online photo section and the room in there that people can buy the photos from, and then the path will lead back outside, but the rest of that will just be an empty room. Again, just because of the space available. So yeah, that's where I'm at the minute. I'll just do some finishing touches because, like I say, I've got to get the layout of this right, and then I'm almost at a point where I can go down and start building either Oblivion or Smiler, which will be the next 2 episodes. So both of those are the next 2. I don't know which order I'm going to do it in yet. Oblivion will be easier because the path around Oblivion is easier, and so is just the general track layout. As you know, it's quite a simple dive coaster, whereas the Smiler is 14 inversions and all the path is underneath, and it's a lot more confusing. So yeah, I'll just do some more finishing touches, show you where I get to.
A few moments later.
Right, okay, so I think I've done as much as I can possibly do without starting to build the 2 coasters in X Sector. So just further on from what we had earlier with the KFC and the arcade shell, I've added in this sort of path section here. Now this section of path kind of sits behind the drop of Oblivion. So I'm imagining that the drop is going to be there, and that is going to form the sort of outline of where Oblivion heads and where that goes. So I do think Oblivion will be the next coaster I put in. The Smiler kind of keeps itself to itself. It's all kind of compact into, as weird as the layout is and as crazy as the layout is, it is fairly compact and it doesn't really interact with anything else. So I think Oblivion will be next, just so I can get the drop right there and get the rest of that area sorted. And then, like I say, I'll move on to the Smiler after that. And then what else have I done down here? I've put in a midway game down here. I know I said before I wasn't sure if there was one. Google Maps shows that there is. Admittedly, that was 10 years ago, so I've just built a basic basketball midway game. I had a look on the workshop to see, like, for a bit of inspiration to see what people had done. And I just want to give a shout out again in this episode to Tommy P for the rope idea for the basketball. I thought that was a really nice effect. And then I'd seen, I can't remember the creator's name now, but I'd seen the rope fencing as well used as the netting around. So again, I thought that was a really nice effect. So yeah, I decided to build that, and luckily it just fits in that gap. It fits in perfectly. So yeah, there we are. That is that, and that is the beginning of X Sector. I appreciate that one's probably a bit of a smaller episode than usual, but as I say, I needed to get this kind of, I needed to get the sort of outline done before I start building the coasters, just because, I didn't want to start adjusting things afterwards, and I can't just place a coaster anywhere. It needs to all fit in properly. But yeah, the next 2 episodes will be Oblivion, followed by the Smiler. So yeah, really excited for those. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss those. And if you have enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, as it's very much appreciated. But yeah, for now, I shall see you in a week's time at 7 PM next Thursday. So thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.